Captain Hunter coming at you again. Thank you so much for checking out the show. Welcome here to LMH Consulting Services, where I'm dealing with police issues, arrest issues, anything that's law enforcement related. All that. So make sure that you hit that rate, subscribe, and share button. Make sure that you hit that rate, subscribe, and share button. While you're at it, head over to Captain Hunter's podcast, where I deal with what I'm about to talk about a little bit on there as well. And that's talking about men issues and how we become the best versions of ourselves. And also I have another channel, Big L PhD, where I talk about my journey to get my doctorate and what's going on in the academic world and scholarship, and looking at black men and our rates in college and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of it is law enforcement, male improvement, all that. That's all what I got going on. So I'd appreciate it if you could go over there, give those channels a like, a subscription. I would really appreciate it. Also trying to grow, got to make it do what it do. So as with many other content, I was actually going to do this episode, and I might still do something about it on Big L PhD, that platform. I want to stay away from bashing women altogether. I really want to stay away from that, and that's being part of the so-called manosphere. Not that somebody asked me the other day, was I a part of it? I don't know. I don't know. I certainly make content that I think is manosphere friendly, but I think that the manosphere has such a bad reputation, and they need to greatly clean up their act. But that's neither here nor there. But today we want to talk about this lady, the brick lady, because she got arrested. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I came across a video that I watched last night. YouTube is my entertainment. I don't really watch that much TV. I put TV on when I'm ready to go to sleep, either that or a movie. But my entertainment most of the time is YouTube. So I came across this video. It says the brick lady was arrested and the gender wars are raging. Olay and friends. So I watched it, and I came across it because I was listening to another episode of podcast, and they were talking about it. So I'm like, let me go check it out. I always try to do try to get as close to the original source as possible. So that's the video that I came across, and I watched it. And so there's some ladies on here, right? There's a panel, as you can see, it's cycling back and forth here. So there's a panel here, and there's 6 people on the panel, and they're talking. I think 1 or 2 of them are actually lawyers. One guy I think the guy in the upper left corner there worked for TMZ. So, these are not nobodies. These are not nobodies, making these kind of videos. So I wanted to chime in on this because I want to give a law enforcement's perspective, as well as, kind of counteract. I'm not a lawyer, never been to law school. But certainly the young lady on there was talking, she's an abolitionist, and she didn't really say which one. I mean, could be all of them as far as law enforcement, police abolitionist, criminal justice abolitionist, corrections abolitionist, right? Prison reform, police reform, et cetera, et cetera. So, whatever you have, whatever floats your boat. I got a book here somewhere about my thoughts on police reform. So make sure you guys can check that out. It's on lulu.com, also on Amazon. So anyway, I wanted to talk about this, and I'm not usually, I watched the whole thing last night, and it was kind of late when I was watching it. So I'm not going to go back here and watch this whole thing again and make these clippets and snippets and stuff. But I wanted to go through this young lady whose name is Roda Osman. I think we'll go through it. I can't recall her name. It really was not that important to me. But why I wanted to do this is because I wanted to talk about what the panel was talking about in this gender war that we got going on. And again, I try to say this for Captain Hunter's podcast, but I think it's more police related as the way I want to construct this argument today. And yeah, they were right about the gender war, man. It's in full swing. If you're paying attention to that type of thing, dating, marriage, relationships, divorce, all that type of thing, right? It's in full swing, and who's paying for who, and who pays for dates, and what women want, and and what men want. It's all in full swing. So this was just another brick in the wall, pun intended, of the gender war that is being erected between men and women. And so what this is saying is that this particular young lady, Rhoda, was allegedly attacked back in September 2023. And we'll read through this Business Insider, but I want to give you guys the context here in case you weren't paying attention. She said that she was attacked, and while she was attacked, a bunch of black men stood around and did nothing. And this is where the gender war comes in at. Not that men did nothing, but the allegation is that black men are useless, that they don't do anything, that they don't protect women, they don't protect themselves, they don't build anything, that they're no good. This is the implication of what she's saying. Now, keep in mind, and I really want to think about this, and I don't know how people from the continent, when we say the continent, Africa, I don't know how they always view themselves in relation to what they would call foundational Black Americans or American descendants of slaves, ADOS or FBA, foundational Black Americans, FBA, ADOS, American descendants of slaves. I don't know how they're always viewed, right? It's always kind of a thing, right? So this woman, I believe, is of Somali descent, and if I can pull it up here, so if you go to this, you can see here, right? Roda Osman, Liberal Arts, UT, University of Texas at Austin. And when you click on that particular website, right? So this is the first thing that pops up. UT, Liberal Arts, UT, University of Texas. So you can't see it there. Let me scroll down so you can see it. So you know I'm not making this up. .404 not found. So when you look up her name, right, and that's what I Googled, right? Googled her name, right? Roda Osman. There's a bunch of articles here. And then you get to this UT. So she was, I'm pretty sure she was a PhD student. I think I have a screenshot on my phone. Maybe I'll upload it when I'm doing this. But she is, for a time, matter of fact, I know I have it on my phone. I'll definitely upload it. So she was, for a time, attending the University of Texas, studying for a degree. And I'm pretty sure I took a screenshot before the University of Texas deleted that page. So I'm bringing this up to say that, here's a woman from the continent. I believe she's Somali, comes here and is attacking the black men who are here. And I take great umbrage with that. I have great problems with that. We know, particularly, in the black community, those who are conscious and alert know that there's a problem with our culture. We know it. We don't need other people coming in over here and saying, hey, look. My space is trying to deal with that and trying to build us up to be better to deal with that. It's what I focused on. I coached for a number of years these young kids because I wanted to be a part of the solution and not part of the problem. So I take great umbrage with that. And so I'm bringing all this up to say that this woman is stoking those flames intentionally. Here's a college student, educated woman, stoking these flames intentionally. And I take great problems with it. I take great problems with that. I have great problems with that. So here it is. Let's read from Business Insider. A woman raised $42,000 on GoFundMe saying she was a victim of a brick attack. Police allege she lied. Police said Roda Osman told another woman to set a GoFundMe page for her recovery. As we can see from the screenshot here, this is her, right? Rhoda is a single mother and student. She is a beautiful person who is always there for others. Because of her vicious attacks, she would have to manage hospital bills, therapy, and time away from work, school, childcare, while she heals mentally and physically. Unfortunately, no one stepped in to help her that night. It would mean so much if we could step up and help her as she heals. A woman in Houston raised $42,000 off a claim that a man attacked her with a brick, but police say Roda Osman faked her story and she's been charged with theft by deception. Police said they have video evidence, but Osman told Business Insider the officers are lying. Because that's what we always do. We're always lying. Yeah. Sarcasm. Make sure you guys quote that as sarcasm. A woman in Houston who said she was attacked in the face with a brick is now facing arrest by local police who allege that she faked the story as part of a scam that raised $42,000 on GoFundMe. But in a lengthy interview with Business Insider, the woman defended her changing story, accused police of targeting her because the police had nothing better to do than target helpless women, and insisted she is the victim of an assault. Roda Osman, 33, went viral on social media in September 2023 after posting videos saying that a man hit her in the face with a brick after she refused to give him her number. In a video shared on social media, which was later taken down, Osman appears to be dressed in a hospital gown with a swollen face and alleging the man attacked her. That would be this video. That would be this picture. Right? That's a swollen face and all that. He picked up a brick in front of so many men and was like, "What you gonna do?" She said through tears. And I told these men, like, "Yo, why does this man got a brick on my face?" She says in the video, accusing the other men of doing nothing as she was attacked. The video went viral last year, and Osman was nicknamed Brick Lady, with many creators jumping in to debate what happened. I tried to stay away from these type of stories because I know that you don't have the whole story until we get the full story. All different angles of videos, all different witness statements. That could take weeks. We don't know. That's why I don't chime in on all these stories. The video went viral over the next month. GoFundMe called to help Roda recover raised $42,000. Now, again, let me bring up the point about the men standing by and doing nothing. This is what angered so many people. This is why there was a debate online about, are black men helping? Do we help? Do we step up? Do we protect? Do we provide? What are we doing in our communities? Or what are we doing to help our children? What are we doing to help our girlfriends and loved ones? Are we part of the problem? Are we victimizing people? Are we a bunch of rapists and R words and attackers, right? This is what the things are looking at. The description on the page, which has been removed, begins, "My good friend Roda was viciously attacked by a brickman." We read all that, not even calling an ambulance. "She was surrounded by onlookers who stood by and did nothing to help her, not even calling an ambulance." But Osman is now being charged with one count of theft by deception, which carries a prison sentence up to 10 years. So on the panel that they were discussing, they were saying, this is a victimless crime, and why are we doing anything about this? Well, that's the point. That's exactly the point that many men in the manosphere are saying, is that there's a disproportionate leveling of justice, accountability toward men, and not the same thing that goes towards women. You cannot be a man and just go around faking things and having these things to happen to you, and claiming these things are happening to you. You cannot be a man, allege these different types of crimes, and then get away with it. I can't tell you how many times when I was in the criminal justice system that we would bring allegations of women that we knew were falsifying allegations about sexual assault and domestic violence. And the prosecutors would say, okay, we know that she's faked this, but we can't charge them, or we're not going to charge them, because if we do, then that will dissuade other ladies further down the road from making these same type of claims. That's the argument. The argument is that if we are going around arresting people who make these false allegations of SAs and domestic violence, then women who are really being victimized won't step up. So therefore, you ruin the life of a man, right? He's got to go through court. He may get arrested. He may, have to hire a lawyer, expenses, time off from work, get fired, be ridiculed, names in the paper, but there's no accountability. So I actually applaud when they not that because I want to hurt anyone, particularly this woman Roda or anyone else, but you shouldn't be able to drag men's names through the mud. We had to jump through all these different hoops to clear our names, and sometimes we never get them clear. And these people just do whatever and just whatever. And that's exactly what they were arguing for on the panel. Okay, well, she might have lied, and but nobody got hurt. People got their money back, as we'll read. The GoFundMe, everybody got refunded. So what are we talking about here? That's their argument. What the argument is that you got to stop people from making these types of claims. In criminal justice world, let's just say you and I are sitting in a room at a bar, at a diner, and I get mad and I start throwing punches at you, but I miss every single one, and people tackle me and they get me away from you. You can still file assault charges, battery charges, depending where you live at, on the grounds that you attempted to do it. You may not have been hurt. I might not have hit you not one time. But because We want to cause a deterrent to people who would engage in that type of behavior. That's the same philosophy that's going on here. We have to deter people from setting up these fake accounts. How do you deter that? If she doesn't get punished, how do we deter that? I'm not saying that she should spend 10 years. I certainly don't believe that she should spend 10 years in prison. But you got to give her something, community service, something. You got to give her some type of accountability so other people can say, oh man, okay, she got held accountable. Let me not engage in the same type of behavior. That's the argument. That's the argument. But Osman is now being charged with one count of theft by deception, which can carry a prison sentence of 10 years. Police allege Osman's story doesn't add up. In the detective's affidavit outlining the charge against Osman, police said surveillance footage shows that Osman was injured in the confrontation. That although Osman was injured in the confrontation, she was the aggressor. The detective writes that the footage shows Osman, her female friend, and the man she says attacked her get into a vehicle together outside a club. A few minutes later, the three got out of the car while Osman and the man appeared to be verbally fighting. The affidavit says, citing the surveillance footage, Osman then hits the man in the face with an unknown object. Before he strikes her in response with a plastic water bottle, the affidavit, Osman then hits the man in the face with an unknown object before he strikes her in response with a plastic water bottle, the affidavit says. Police have not made the footage available and BI hasn't seen it, or Business Insider hasn't seen it. The detective wrote that Osman filed a complaint with the police but changed her story at least once when speaking to him on the phone. Osman initially told the detective that she called an Uber and that a man arrived in a car she believed was her hired ride, according to the affidavit. She told the detective she entered the car and was hit by the man with a brick, it stated. The affidavit also said Osman claimed the man was involved in human trafficking and had a large group of females in the car with him. The affidavit says Osman then changed his story, telling the detective she was instead insulted in a nightclub. The detective said she got upset when I pressed her for more information as asked to speak to his supervisor, and then hung up. The detective wrote in the affidavit that he also spoke to Osman's female friend, who told police she didn't think Osman was hit with a brick. Police alleged in the complaint that Osman had a friend start the GoFundMe page based on a story that she was attacked with a brick. Police said in the complaint that several donors reported that GoFundMe page is a fraud. In a statement to BI, GoFundMe said that Osman's fundraiser has been removed from the platform. All donors have been refunded, and she has now been barred from using this site. GoFundMe has a zero tolerance for the misuse of our platform and cooperates with law enforcement investigations of those accused of wrongdoing, GoFundMe said in its statement to BI. The affidavit also says Osman had a similar GoFundMe set up for her in 2020 with a $5,000 goal over a separate incident in which Osman alleged a security guard attacked her. The detective said he interviewed a woman who was living with Osman when the first GoFundMe was created. The former roommate said the donation was based on a false story, according to the affidavit. The detective also wrote in the affidavit that there were no police report of the alleged 2020 assault. Here's the screenshot, I'm assuming, of the previous affidavit or GoFundMe page. Help Black Muslim mother pay her medical bill. The Houston Police Department confirmed to Business Insider that Osman is still wanted and she has only been charged in connection with the incident. Osman responds to fake story allegations. In an interview on Friday, Osman told BI that the night of the incident, she and a female friend met two men while going clubbing. Osman said that one of the men harassed her all night for her phone number, even though she turned him down. At around 4 or 5 in the morning, Osman told BI she was standing on the street with her friend and the two men trying to figure out if she would call an Uber. She said the man who had been bugging her forced her hand over his penis and choked her. So she tried to get away from him. The affidavit outlining the charges against Osman does not mention Osman's claim that Douglas forced her to grab his penis. The first time they said his name, unless I missed it, Douglas. And why is his name in here? See, this is what I'm talking about. Why is this guy's name in here? Why is this? I read this whole thing, and this is the first time he mentioned his name. Unless I missed it. Did I miss it? Yeah, it's the first time they said his name. Why are you saying you shouldn't say his name at all? This is about her. She says he's then head over head with something before he ran to his cars to escape. Osman told BI that's when she saw a brick. Osman told BI that's when she saw a brick on the ground, which she assumed he used to hit her. Osman alleged that police are lying about the surveillance footage. She says she never had an object in her hand, and the object the man hit her with could have been a liquor bottle. After being struck, she said that she called the police and was taken in the ambulance to the hospital. Osman shared her hospital records with BI, in which a doctor reported contusion on the left side of Osman's face and blood coming out of her left ear. So she got smacked with something. Osman told BI that she couldn't recollect perfectly clearly because she had just been hit over the head, had a concussion, and had been drinking. Not remembering every single detail of assault and trauma is not a crime, Osman told BI. I think the police saying that I changed my story is an indication that never treated me like a victim to begin with. Osman told BI that she believes the police filed charges against her in retaliation for reporting one of the officers who handled her case, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's always looked as retaliatory, right? Houston Police Department declined to comment on her allegations. She also stressed that she shouldn't be charged with fraud because she didn't create the GoFundMe drive. Osman told BI that her friend made it because she wanted to help. In response to the police allegation that Osman ran a fake GoFundMe in 2020, Osman said that was not fraudulent. They are getting that from social media. It's not a crime or a hoax to be attacked more than once in your life, she said, adding, they had no right to say that my last attack was fake, and in fact, it is another indication of their innate bias and refusal to see me as a victim. She also said she never reported the 2020 incident because she had handled it with the establishment where it happened. There's no such thing as being a perfect victim, Osman told BI. Nobody deserves to be assaulted, and nobody deserves to be victimized over and over again. To that, I do not disagree. So this is the war, right? This is the war that's going on, right? They're throwing the guys' names. It's not about him. He was a woman who claimed brick attack. So none of this is really, really intriguing to me, except for the fact that, people don't know the process. And, as the lawyer really should have been able to understand, why the police did what they did, right? You're wasting people's time. You're wasting their resources. And, you got to deter other people from doing this. Otherwise they won't come forward. Otherwise, real victims won't come forward, otherwise people will continue to try to do these types of crimes, even though they may be victimless, even though there's no money exchange. You got to stop people from trying to do that, right? Get people on the right path. That's the philosophy. So listen, this whole gender war, rage war, men against women, all that is just, it is what it is, man. But it's just really, really unfortunate that this continues to be where we're at. All right, let me know your thoughts, your opinion. Right. So, should this lady have been arrested? What do you think the charges against her should have been? Should there be more charges? Do you think because it was a victimless crime that nothing should happen to her? This is just a big waste of time. Just another distraction that we have amongst this sea of distractions. What should we do in these types of situations? What type of deterrent should we have in order to get these things through? And also with these people we're talking about, I want to put them up here again. With these people we're talking about in their show was that we don't have any kind of system, and black men have never shown up. And these are some of these dudes who are saying this. Some of the people who are saying this were black men themselves, right? We don't do anything. We're not saying anything. We're not a part of the community. All this crazy foolishness, right? So it's really, really unfortunate. We continue to be at war, number one, men and women, and number two, it's on steroids within the black community. It's on steroids. So let me know your thoughts, your opinions, and we'll take it from there. Much love and peace, everyone.